Hey y'all, welcome to the Medicinal Melange podcast. I'm Elizabeth, a clinical herbalist, medical astrologer, and the friend that won't let you gaslight yourself out of your own brilliance. This is where we take the guesswork out of your wellness journey and take back your autonomy in healing your body, aligning with your chart, and shedding light on your highest self's actual timeline, not the one capitalism tries to rush you through. If you're into no BS astrology, radical self-honesty, and levels of devotion to yourself you were told were too much, you're in the right place. Well, dang. This is actually the second time I'm recording this. I almost didn't hit publish the first time, and I went, you know what? Maybe if I just record this, I'll feel better. I paused, I got some lunch, and here we are attempting for the second time to record this episode. And it's not because I don't want to record this, but sometimes staying quiet in my case, even in my own emotional patterns and loops, staying the same sometimes feels safer than speaking from the version of me that is still forming. I personally feel like I'm at a very vulnerable place right now because there is a lot of transition behind the scenes and a lot of transition in my life in the most amazing ways, but it's not perfectly curated, picture perfect yet. So I'm like, oh, don't look at me, but also look at me, but don't look at me. So as a Leo 12th house, I want to come to you, and in this case, probably your earbuds of some sorts if you're listening to this or in the car, but I want to be perfectly packaged. And if you've been on this podcasting journey with me for a minute, you know that that is absolutely not how I'm showing up anymore. So that's what this episode is really about: the emotional cost of staying the same and what my or your resistance is actually protecting when it's all said and done. When we have such an astrologically activated year as 2026 is, this isn't like a soft mindset talk. Like, you just got to think about things in a different way. Yes, that's helpful, but in this exact, it manifests as me talking to you as a woman who just built an entire platform, launched 2 regular offers, but a brand new offer, rewired my entire business model from scratch, and also looks at my phone and is like, do I want to post and talk about this? And let's be even more mad. And is it safe for me to actively talk about these things? And does it matter if it's not safe? And just, we got a lot on our plates right now. But I thought this is actually the perfect time to pull back the curtain for a second. Looking at the astrology, there's a lot of air energy from yesterday, today, and tomorrow. If you have 7 to 9 degrees air signs, this is great times for miraculous healing. If I'm working one-on-one with somebody, I'm looking for these kind of bountiful in one element to match their element for miraculous healings. But this is really great for speech as well. Although, as somebody who has epilepsy and a seizure disorder, speech is not always my easiest skill, even though I know I'm very good at it. Sometimes my words slow down because my brain slows down mid-sentence. We're looking at this air energy for these ideas to flow out, and I kind of want to embody that for this episode. So this past week, yeah, it's been about 5 days. I am soft launching through the end of the month the Stars membership. It's basically a low commitment space. It's only $44 a month where I get to deep dive and teach astrology, teach herbalism, teach a blend of everything together, because that's my favorite sweet spot of all the woo-woo, but also all the scientific side of things, neuroscience and behavioral psychology. But I get to package them in monthly classes. With all of my memberships, you get a community space, and that's what I've been building as well, is this community space where there's an app that's associated with it. I'm calling it the Melange. But in this community space, I have mini teachings. I have guided hypnosis work. So it's a beautiful space and gives me the freedom to teach, most importantly, the things I want to and the things that y'all need. For instance, I've been dying to make a class that hits on the unmothered wound in astrology, in our behavior, in our psyche, and just working through that with people. And so that's a class that I'm putting together. Does that mean that Julie V wants to come on a Tuesday night, with 10 strangers she's never met and talk about the trauma of her childhood? No, but in the safety of her house, is she more willing and being in a space where she can learn more about herself via astrology, via the psychology behind her astrology? Absolutely. So I am in a super soft launch, which is my very special way of saying, like, hey, this is open to the public, but I didn't make a whole song and dance about it. I moved all of my sun and moon members over as well. So these are current members that are either in my sun membership, which is my highest hands-on membership that I have, and then my moon membership, where we meet once a month as a community to learn under the full moon. Next year it'll change to new moon learning, but for right now it's under the full moon. And then I also meet one-on-one once a month with them to go over their month ahead by looking at different progressive charts for them. So I needed to build a new space. Everything was on my website and that was fine, but it wasn't as interactive as I wanted. I wanted something I could gamify. I wanted something where y'all could create the community with me. I don't want to be just the talking head. And I'm very lucky to say that even in the last week or so that we've had the melange open to the public, there's been so much interaction. There has been new people, new connections. You can DM each other and follow along. I'm going to be gamifying. So if you graduate from the Sun membership, you'll get a special little badge that I'm currently in the process of drawing out and curating. If you are a Sun member, a Star member, or a Moon member, you'll get your own independent little badge. So that way you can see everybody's on this learning journey together. I am additionally going to feature the Green Path, which is my herbalism course that I'm thickening out into a whole herbal certification track. Side note, if you have taken the Green Path before, if you have purchased the Green Path or been gifted the Green Path, email me. It's just Elizabeth at themedicinalmelange.com, and I will manually add you to this new course space on the melange. Everything is interactive and in this one space. So it's really awesome. I'm simplifying it here, but I've been building. I mean, deep in my Neptune's already in my Aries 8th house. Saturn's about to be there type of work. I'm rewiring and rewriting what effort means to me. I'm unhooking myself from this external validation era that I had been in. And I'm really restructuring my business and how I show up in it from the inside out. And of course, mid-launch and mid-building all of this, the holidays came. I had visitors. I lost my assistant. I basically had to teach myself, my whole ass self, how to build this entire platform out and this app completely solo, while also homeschooling my teenagers, taking them to their activities. My daughter started her cosmetology school. My son has a job. This is also while I'm relaunching this ecosystem and while holding it all together in the moments where I wasn't even sure I had the energy to hold it all. When I say I've been feeling vulnerable, I mean do I even know what the fuck I'm doing? Can I keep doing this all on my own? And I knew that my old platform, my old website was not sustainable as it pertains to hosting memberships. It just wasn't. And so I kind of been playing around with what happens if this version of me burns out before I actually get to land the goals that I have in my head for myself and for my business as well. Which brings me back to Saturn in Aries, gearing up to transit through my 8th house in a couple weeks. Neptune is already there, so that's been a lot. But this is the kind of astrology that doesn't show up as like cute little Instagram inspo. It is a really fucking rough meet and greet right now. I feel like that's the stage I'm in, a meet and greet of your next version of self. So if you're listening to this as a Sun member, please let these folks know in the comments how transformational the work we did in your 8th house was. But if you are not a Sun member, when you join, I always get to like walk you through the process, and I get to tell you like, hey, you're going to see the benefits of the Sun membership within the first week or two. But I rewire your whole fucking existence when I get to the 8th house. And honestly, it never fails. Even if they avoid what I'm saying in the moment, within the month, by the end of the month, they're focusing so hardcore on the 8th house that their entire life flips into the one reality that they knew they deserved. And they quit all the shoulds they were following like breadcrumbs from the capitalist machine. You know, you should go to college, and then you should focus on having a family, and then you should focus on, it's just so much. It's so much. The Aries in my chart wants forward motion. It wants a bold identity shift here and there, but at the very least, it makes me want to have the courage to begin. And the 8th house is where the personal power is kind of tangled up in old like survival patterns. It's where you hold on to pain and all the shoulds that were taught to you under the label of safety. So when Saturn, the planet of pressure and structure and being so responsible, moves into Aries in a couple weeks, the question becomes for me, because it's the 8th house, can you let go of the way that you held power? Can I hold it differently now? And if you've gotten a reading from me or taken a course of mine, you know that I teach that astrology does not live in a vacuum. These large transits ripple out like waves after a cannonball. I've been feeling these energetic waves of this transit forming into my 8th house for a hot minute now. And frankly, in a very vulnerable way, this transit is showing me where I over identified with figuring it out, where my effort kind of made me feel more safe than just releasing control to the universe or feeling the feelings. And even help, like help felt very unstable, very scary up until probably the last 3 years. I have over identified with being the one who always figures it out. Even my ex, everything was left on me to figure it out. Obviously, with children, it's left on me to figure it out. With dinner, up until I, got into my relationship, it was always on me to figure out, no matter what relationship or co-parenting situation I was in. If you've listened to past episodes, you knew that I had to reinvent myself in a split second. My former business partner stole my immediate income, my future income, my storefront from me without warning. And as a single mom, I had to figure it the fuck out in real time because we had to eat. And I was not prepared for that significant of a blow because I had just bought my house like right about that same time. So effort kind of became my safety blanket because as a Capricorn moon, I got to work after this entire life that I had built imploded overnight. Working more really solved a two-part problem. I could probably generate more money because I own my own business, and if I'm working, I'm earning. But also that allows me to avoid feeling the big feels and sitting with the pain of my current realities. When I lost my shop, yeah, that's an income thing. And if I hyper focus on that, that's all it is. But it took years before I sat with that. I mean, if you go back to the episode, I'm not sure if I talked about it or not, but I really only told like 3 or 4 people, and that included my best friends and also my assistant that was working for me at the time. I didn't really talk about it until the last 6 months to a year when I really started to process those feelings, because this allowed me to avoid mourning the life I thought I was building and feeling mad that I was putting up with bullshit in the name of reality, both with my ex-business partner, but also with my ex-husband. Like, it was just bare fucking bones, bare minimum, being gaslit to think that the kind of love that I was asking for was not ever going to be a reality. And now I'm like, oh my God, was I so dumb for putting it up with it? But so I have that part where it's like, well, let's just fast forward and let's just get working, because then I don't have to stop and feel these feelings. I avoided intimacy with others. Them being in my space, in my life, offering help felt very risky compared to just doing it solo. I think that's why I tend to take over as head of household very naturally, because depending on myself has always been the only guarantee that I had. It took a lot of therapy to trust on all of these levels that someone was genuinely in it for me, and in it while I worked behind the scenes on lowering these emotional walls I put up. And though the outside looked very put together, and it was, internally, I just kind of did the Aries 8th house and raced past it. But this transit, both with Neptune and Saturn moving into my 8th house, it's not showing me a push through it kind of era. This is really a burn down all of the old framework and rebuild from a softer but sturdier kind of place slash era. And if you're in a season like that too, where it looks like you are launching a whole new life, a next chapter, whatever, but really you're just trying to stay emotionally regulated while building every part of how you work, how you show up, how you hold it all together. You're just in this Saturn shuffle too. When you're in a season of transition, but your nervous system is still calibrated to past disappointments or feeling the loss of things that you were hoping would happen, and the transition, mourning that you have to transition now into this space where you were never planning on all of this. Resistance can feel like a protection in a way. You think maybe, oh, I'm just procrastinating. I'll just wait to do X. Or maybe you feel like you are purposely being unclear because you're just dragging your feet. But really, you're grieving the last version of you who tried really fucking hard to hold it all together, to maintain it, to keep it. You are the one who showed up. Maybe like you're like me and you launched a business or tried to. You maybe spoke the truth and didn't get the response you expected or wanted. And that's what this resistance is holding on to. It's not that you're dragging your feet, it's your fear that shows up. That inner protector that's like, okay, we already tried this and it fucking hurt. Now, again, in my own chart, Neptune just slipped into Aries 8th house. So we're not just talking about intuition and inspiration. I'm feeling this identity level vulnerability. The 8th house is like asking, let's play a game. What's the scariest thing you can think of when it comes to losing something? What's the scariest thing? And then you reply, and the reverse is like, yeah, let's let go of that. I'm going to make that happen. Like, excuse me? And yeah, Neptune in Aries doesn't let you wait for all the answers to see the path forward. It's actually a thing that I wrote down probably 2 months ago, just by happen chance, that I was trying to think of good things to write about for a moon in Capricorn. And I wrote down, I follow my path even if I can't fully see it yet, or it's not fully clear yet. I'm not sure exactly what I wrote, but it was something to that sentiment. And that is totally Neptune in Aries. It wants me to trust the intuitive pools that I have. And when Saturn joins the party in a few weeks, that energy is like, cool, cool, cool. I like what you're going down with this. Now let's build some structure around it so that way you're never scared to lose that again. I'll be honest, for me right now, it's just hard because it's very thick Neptune energy. My natal Neptune is at 0 degrees. This Neptune is at 0 degrees. And so it's making me feel some sort of way where I really have been dying to write my next 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. And I don't even know what the fuck to write. Like, I have ideas, but I'm like, am I reaching high enough? That doesn't seem like it's high enough. So I got to trust that intuitive pool and just sit with it. Continue to think about it, but sit with it. Let's be honest, this is very fucking tender work. Staying the same will cost you and me more than changing ever will. But staying the same feels easier in the short term because it keeps you away from the grief of thinking about your past failures or the cringe moments. Keeps me away from the fear of visibility. Again, I have Leo in my 12th house. That's a very scary thing, to be seen in all my vulnerability states and my empowerment states and just every version of me. I think that's also why I love this podcast and having it as an outlet, because sometimes I'm not sure if y'all will like heart to heart it with me, but I do need to talk about these things because it keeps me visible. But also it keeps you, me, us away from the ache that is felt when we're not being received how we wanted to be received. But every time you avoid this big leap, you're not just avoiding the discomfort, you're actually avoiding the next version of you who's wanting and waiting and planning on the other side. If this is also your 8th house transit, it is the person who isn't scared to take a leap. So that's why it's important to just like, okay, Neptune and Aries, what the fuck do I want? Instead of fighting, this resistance, take time the next 2 weeks to journal with me. These are the journal entries that I thought of for myself, and I thought you might want to partake in it. But if you've taken the Sun membership with me, you know I am a massive journaler. So I'm going to start to include those more often here on the podcast. But write out what part of me is still grieving a past version of success, of motherhood, of your career. This past version, this past, like, wow, that is when I know I've made it. Whatever's hidden, what part of you is still grieving that? Then ask, what are you afraid might happen again? Because in behavioral psychology, we know that there's always a root, and there's these little micro encounters that probably shape that fear to begin with. That's when you identify what your nervous system is protecting you from as well. And calling it out is very powerful. I'm not afforded this opportunity to open Instagram and bypass the grief. I will tell you, I deleted my TikTok almost immediately, but I'm also not pushing through the grief either. Business as usual, come buy my shit. Like that is not an importance to me right now. Right now, the importance to me is building a community off of social media where we are constantly monitored into a safe space of community where we can all grow together, where you can talk about astrology or some hard shit at home and, Kathy from Ohio isn't going to be like, you just need to read the Bible. That's not what we're looking for, or to be put on some fucking watch list. I know this space is where people become the best versions of themselves, and I owe that to y'all as an offering. I needed to see that version and hear myself say it in order to keep going on the hard days for sure. But these days, it kind of feels too vulnerable. I kind of want to stay in the procrastinating loop and staying small. And this is the emotional cost of staying the same. You will feel safe momentarily, But if I just don't continue to build and don't continue to share my message and my intuitive pools and my ancient knowledge for this very fucked up modern life, then I'm always going to stay small that way. And that's not what my chart is here for. And it's certainly not what your chart is here for. The Saturn and Neptune blend this year is not a hustle for the sake of a fucking dollar. It is all about recalibration and effort that honors your sensitive side and doesn't bypass your softness. Softness is that attunement we are calling into the world right now. I want to pull a card for this episode. I'm using the Voice of Souls Oracle. I've kind of been obsessed with this oracle lately. I've kind of fallen in love with it. Thanks, Snowy, for the recommendation. The card I pulled is card 25, which is Reproach. So it has two snakes, one gold, one yellow, that are intertwined with one another. There is moon and stars on each side. Reproach. Sometimes you are so critical of yourself. So hard on yourself. Sometimes you say things that aren't right and you think and feel them in your bones. You bring these things to life believing they represent who you are and what you do. This is not so, and it's not right. These reproaches have no valid basis because you are an imperfect being and do your best with what you have. You have often been powerless, but this has much to teach you. I'm sending you many signs to help you understand your inner wisdom. Even if in your outer life you feel stripped of everything, you have created great inner wealth. I can sense your inner wealth. It belongs to you and is represented in each of your cells. Today, you need to be confident in this wealth, feeling it deep inside of you. You just need to look in a mirror and see all the light that makes up your aura. Your self reproaches aren't valid. They're a reflection of your fears to teach you confidence in yourself. You are a unique and wonderful being. Every day, I send you signs to remind you of the gifts. And then, as far as a message from the spirit guides, it says the next 3 weeks are so important. Literally, the next 3 weeks are between Neptune and Saturn. There will be many synchronicities and the pace will be intense. We invite you to be daring and have confidence in yourself. I always love when the guides are spot on and come give us reaffirming messages that we're already kind of talking about for the episodes. If this episode hits deep because you've been in this same resistance I was feeling and you're ready to build capacity for more, not in the spite of your emotions, but with them, that's literally why I created the moon. It's for the identity shifts, the new downloads that come like a wave every single month, and the parts of your chart that don't make sense until you're like in the middle of the fucking storm. We meet this Friday as a community for leading into the full moon in Leo. And actually, that's why I'm releasing this episode a little early. I do want to get back to my Friday schedule, but I wanted to release this early so that way, if you want to join us for the full moon, you can go to the link in the episode notes and join the melange under the moon membership, and that'll give you access right away. Plus, you get weekly tarot and astrology insights and the community space, and you get to meet new friends. It's a lot of fun. We also meet once a month one-on-one, so I can let you know about the personal shifts for your month ahead, the energies. Are you going to have more energy? Are you going to have less energy? Is it going to be a very abundant month? Do we need to pause? Are we looking to reschedule time with people you love? We basically get to plan out your energy for the month. And since I've already talked about the stars and the moon, the sun, that's where I rebuild your whole fucking life. It's where you learn to let go of the shoulds you were told would bring you so much abundance and instead have brought you so much stress. And now you're looking around at a life you don't even really want or certainly don't recognize yourself in. I won't reopen the stars until the spring. So you have from now until February 1st, and that's when doors close, and then I'll open it up next season. So this is definitely your window. The sun and moon memberships are always available on the app. You already know I don't pressure y'all. I will be here when you are ready, when it feels like it's in alignment with your heart, in alignment with your schedule, in alignment with your pocketbook, all those things. Don't shame your resistance to this bullshit. Instead, let me help you transmute it and then decide if staying the same is really a safer choice or if you realize it's just a quieter death. Astrologically, I know we are not doing quiet deaths in 2026. We are making bold beginnings. I'll see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.